No alarm. No reason. Just awake. You lie there in the dark, and the ceiling feels closer than it did last night. Your chest is tight before your feet even touch the floor. The bills you haven't opened. The diagnosis you're still processing. The phone call you keep dreading. The job that might not be there next month. Your mind starts running before your body even moves. I need you to hear something, and I need you to hear it clearly. Life was never meant to be a playground. Life is a battlefield. Right now, you are standing on a battlefield you didn't choose, fighting an enemy you cannot see, carrying a weight no one else can feel. But here is what the enemy does not want you to know. While you lay awake in the dark, feeling completely alone, you were not alone. Today, I am going to take you on a journey, 5 layers deep into your own heart. At every layer, I will uncover something the enemy hid from you, and something God has been doing for you the whole time. By the end, the battlefield will not have changed, but you will. Here is the truth I need you to receive right now. God sees you, not the version of you that you perform for your coworkers, your family, your church, the real you, exhausted, holding it together with shaking hands. God sees you. I need you to hear that again. God sees you. Let me take you back. Genesis chapter 16. There is a woman named Hagar, and she is running. She is pregnant, alone, and cast out into a wilderness with nothing but a water skin slung over her shoulder. The sun is merciless. The sand burns through her sandals. Every direction looks the same. Empty, silent, hopeless. She sits down by a spring, certain that no one in heaven or on earth even remembers her name. And then, in the middle of that nowhere, the angel of the Lord finds her. Not the other way around. He speaks to her by name. And in that moment, Hagar, a runaway servant girl with no status, no family, no future, gives God a name no one had ever called him before. She calls him El Roi, the God who sees. Have you ever felt like Hagar? Invisible in a room full of people. Forgotten in the wilderness of your own life. The email nobody answers. The silent ache you carry into work behind a smile that isn't real. Have you ever wondered if anyone, anywhere, actually sees what you're carrying? Does that make you feel small? Or bring you a strange kind of peace? Hagar didn't have a counselor, a community, or a single friend who knew where she had run to. And yet she was found. Not because she fought her way out of that desert. Not because she earned it through good behavior, but because God was already looking for her before she ever sat down by that spring. Hagar discovered something in that desert, and I am handing it to you right now. You are not in the wilderness alone. The God who sees you. But seeing you was never the end of the story. It was only the door. And the same God who found Hagar in an empty desert is about to walk into the emptiest room in your life right now. Your bank account, your strength, your hope. And do something there that will leave you speechless. God is not only watching your need from a distance, He is your provider in the very middle of your scarcity, before the breakthrough, before the raise, before the answer you've been praying for shows up. 1 Kings chapter 17. A drought has strangled the land for years. There is a widow in Zarephath gathering the last 2 sticks she owns, because she has flour for one final loaf and oil for one final meal. She is planning to feed her son, eat with him, and then wait to die. That is not poetry. That is her plan. She says it out loud. And into that hopelessness walks the prophet Elijah, a stranger off the road, asking her to give him bread first, before she feeds herself, before she feeds her own child. Picture her hands trembling over that nearly empty jar, the smoke from a fire never meant to cook a second meal, the silence as she weighs whether to trust a stranger's God with the very last of what she owns. She makes the decision. She bakes the bread and brings it to him first. And from that day forward, the jar of flour was not used up, and the jug of oil did not run dry for as long as the famine lasted. Have you ever given the last of what you had emotionally, financially, physically, convinced there was nothing left over for tomorrow. That widow's flour did not multiply because of her math, and it did not multiply as a reward she earned for her obedience. It multiplied because of who God already was before she ever moved. A provider whose love had been reaching for her long before her hands ever opened that jar. Her trust did not purchase the miracle. It simply made room for a grace already on its way. Wherever your jar feels almost empty tonight, your bank account, your patience, your hope for your marriage, your energy to keep showing up for people who never ask how you're doing, hear this clearly. The God of Zarephath is still in the business of empty jars. He was not finished with her flour, and he is not finished with you. But provision was never the deepest gift God gave that widow. And what he wants to give you next is something money could never buy. You are not fighting this alone. I need you to receive that. There are more forces fighting for you right now than against you. 2 Kings, chapter 6. The king of Syria has surrounded the city of Dothan with a great army to capture the prophet Elisha. His servant rises early, steps outside into the cool morning air, and sees nothing but horses, chariots, and soldiers covering every hillside as far as he can see. He runs back inside, terrified, certain that this is the day they die. Elisha simply says, "Do not be afraid. Those who are with us are more than those who are with them." Then Elisha prays one short, quiet prayer. "Lord, open his eyes." And suddenly the servant sees what was there the entire time. The whole mountainside ablaze, filled with horses and chariots of fire, an army of heaven standing between them and the enemy, fighting a battle the servant never even knew had already begun. Have you ever had a gut feeling not to go somewhere? A feeling that warned you? A strange peace that overruled your fear at the very last second? An accident you somehow avoided by mere seconds? A phone call you almost didn't answer that changed everything? That was not coincidence. That was not luck. That was the same chariots of fire, invisible to your natural eyes, fighting on your behalf in moments you never even knew you were in danger. You may never know, this side of eternity, how many disasters you walked past untouched, or how many doors quietly closed in front of you that led somewhere you were never meant to go. That is heaven moving on your behalf, in silence, while you simply went about your day. If you believe there is an army fighting for you right now that you cannot see, do something simple before you keep watching. Type in the comments below, "God is my shield." Don't just think it, type it. Let it become a declaration over your life today, something the enemy has to read, and something your own eyes will see when fear tries to whisper otherwise. But there is a battle even closer than the ones around you. There is a war inside you, one made of shame and guilt. And what God reveals next is going to tear down the prison you built for yourself. God does not only provide for you and protect you, he restores you even after you have failed him in front of everyone you love. John chapter 21. The night before the crucifixion, Peter stood beside a charcoal fire in a courtyard and denied even knowing Jesus. Not once, but 3 times, while the rooster crowed and his own voice betrayed him. That smell of burning coal became, for the rest of his life, the smell of his shame. After the resurrection, Jesus meets his disciples again on the shore of the same sea, and he builds a fire, a charcoal fire, the exact same scent drifting through the morning air. And by that fire, he asks Peter the same question 3 times. "Do you love me?" 3 denials, undone by 3 restorations, beside the same kind of flame. Maybe you've denied God in your own way, not with words around a literal fire, but with choices made quietly in the dark. The habit you can't seem to break. The anger you can't seem to control no matter how many times you apologize. The relationship you already know isn't right. The prayer you stopped praying because you felt too unworthy to even say it out loud. Have you ever felt disqualified from God's love because of what you've done, what you've said, or who you've become? Shame has a way of convincing you that your seat at God's table was only ever borrowed, and that one bad season is enough to lose it for good. But shame was never given the authority to write your story. Only grace was. Jesus didn't rebuild that fire to remind Peter of his failure. He rebuilt it on purpose, in the same kind of place, to give Peter a new memory layered over the old wound. Hear me on this. God does not erase your past by pretending it didn't happen. He redeems it by standing with you in the exact place it happened and writing something new there. If God can hand a denier his identity back beside the very fire that exposed him, then your worst moment is not the end of your story either. Nothing in your past disqualifies you. Because what I am about to show you next is not only bigger than your shame, it is bigger than the one fear you have never said out loud, not even in prayer. God is not only your provider, your protector, and your restorer. He is the conqueror of the one thing you cannot conquer on your own: the unknown, the ending, the grave itself. Every fear you have faced tonight, every layer you have walked through with me tonight, has been leading you here to the deepest room in your heart, the one you keep locked because it holds your fear of loss, your fear of the future, your fear of death, your own or someone you love's. Early on the third day, while the city still slept and the air was still cool and gray, a small group of women walked toward a tomb carrying spices, expecting nothing more than to anoint a dead body one final time. Grief had hollowed them out completely. Hope felt foolish, even dangerous, to hold on to. They had watched him die. They had heard the stone scrape shut. They were not walking toward a miracle that morning. They were walking toward a goodbye. But when they arrived, the heavy stone that should have sealed that tomb shut had already been rolled away, and the body they came to grieve was simply not there. A messenger told them not to look for the living among the dead, because the one they were searching for was alive, exactly as he had said he would be. Have you ever walked towards something expecting only grief, only an ending, only the worst-case scenario you've rehearsed in your mind 100 times, and found instead that God had already moved before you even arrived? Whatever your tomb looks like tonight, a diagnosis you're afraid to say out loud, a relationship you thought was over, a fear about tomorrow you haven't told a single soul, I need you to hear this. You do not have to pretend you are not afraid. You do not have to perform a peace you do not feel. You only have to let the same God who walked out of that tomb walk into the room you have been avoiding inside your own heart. The same God who rolled that stone away on the third day is not finished with what feels buried in you either. Endings do not get the final word where he is involved. Mornings do. This is your responsibility now, not just a story you watched. No one else can respond for you, not even those who love you most. Say it now, in your own words. I receive this. I am stepping off the battlefield of fear and onto solid ground. Pray with me, right now, in your heart. Father, thank you for seeing me when I felt invisible, providing for me when I felt empty, fighting for me when I felt afraid, restoring me when I felt unworthy, and conquering what I could never conquer alone. I receive your peace as my own. In Jesus' name, amen. If this prayer is yours, subscribe to God's message today for your daily spiritual bread, because tomorrow morning, when you wake up before the alarm again, the ceiling will not feel like it's closing in on you, and your chest will not tighten before your feet touch the floor. You will simply breathe in and remember, you are seen, provided for, fought for, restored, and already standing on the other side of the grave.